Welcome back to SAT Math Practice, one page at a time with hints and tricks. This is practice test 7, section 4, which you are allowed to use a calculator for. Questions 33 and 34. These are the grid-in, or I would say open response questions, non-multiple choice. Please find the link to the official SAT practice test in the description below, as well as links to the other pages of this section. If you would like to try these two questions without any hints, please pause now. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and give a hint for each before I go over them. So for 33, the hint for this is to write a system of equations. You have two totals represented in this initial information. You have the total of 40 questions, and you have the total score of 50. So you can write an equation for each of those totals. For number 34, the hint for this one would be the reminder that there are 360 total degrees in any given circle. Okay, so if you have not already tried these, go ahead and pause before we go over them. So the first equation for number 33, if we translate what they are telling us, that the score, right, and I'm automatically going to match it up with the score total. The score is obtained by subtracting the number of incorrect answers. So I'm going to just say incorrect answers. I'm going to say they are wrong. I'm going to use W for that variable from twice the number of correct answers, which I will use C for. So 2 times twice, right? 2 times the number that we get correct minus W. We're subtracting the ones we get incorrect or wrong. So if a player answered 40 questions and got a score of 50, so the score was equal to 50, how many questions did the player answer correctly? So a total of 40 questions, that would be a combination of numbers that they got correct and problems that they got or questions that they got wrong. So combination or total of 40. So for this system, now that you have two equations with two unknowns, you could graph, you could substitute, you could eliminate. Please look for links to review each of those methods. I'm going to go ahead and just substitute. I can very easily solve the second equation for either C or W. I'm going to go with W equals 40 minus C. Again, there are a number of ways that you could do this, but then I can substitute into the first equation for W, and that would give me 2C minus, make sure you subtract both terms of this. I'm just going to put it in parentheses to show that. You might not want to take the time to write that, but then I would actually be adding C, so be careful there. So that gives me combined like terms, 3C minus 40 equals 50, and then 3C would be equal to 90. Therefore, the number of questions that we got correct would be 30. So if you were planning ahead for this, as far as the substitution goes, this did work out nicely this way because we were solving for C, the number that they got correct. So I actually had to substitute in for W, the number that we got wrong, so that I could solve for C first. So kind of a little shortcut built in. For number 34, point C is the center of the circle. What fraction of the area of the entire circle is the area of the shaded region? So the angle of 100 degrees is proportional to the portion that's shaded. So if we just take 100 divided by 360, we will get 5/18. So 5/18, they are asking specifically for a fraction. So you would just grid this in. You have the 4 columns. So you would have your 5/1/8 if you were gridding that out horizontally. Make sure you look at the reference page for grading in your answers to make sure you're aware for these cases where you get fractions, decimals, and so on. Okay, so that was section 4, numbers 33 and 34. Please look for the link for the next page.